I got the glasses on for this one because, boys and girls, class is in session. The off season is the time to make some money on the Las Vegas Raiders. And I know what you're thinking, uh-oh, this is a sponsored video. It's not. I thought maybe one day it would be, but it's not. I just want to tell you, the over-under win total for the Las Vegas Raiders is an absolute joke, and there's a bunch of ways you can bet to make some money on the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not talking about going to this site or this site. I don't care what site you use. Like I said, this is not a sponsored video. But this is a video that's going to show you how crazy it is that our over-under win total is set at 6.5 games. And if you don't know what that means you can bet a certain amount of money for us to be under 6.5 wins or over 6.5 wins. And if you do a deep dive into what happened last year, our over-under win total was, guess what? 6.5. And we won 8 games with 2 different quarterbacks. Scratch that, reverse it. 3 different quarterbacks, 2 different head coaches, 2 different offensive coordinators, and a partridge in a pear tree. And we still won with not an easy schedule, 8 games. So if we do a deep dive, and I'm going to share my screen in a second here, into how many games we could win this season, I could show you pretty easily how we get to that 7 wins so you can make your money. And then there's a website here, again, not sponsored, just kind of bored and want to show you how to make some money, that shows you the odds for every single player, every single person on the Raiders, and what they can do, and how you guys can not only root for the Raiders, but make a little bit of money. Okay, so this is the doc right here that just totals kind of, it's plus 118. The win total is 6.5. So if you don't know what plus 118 means, that essentially means if you take the over and you bet $10. So it's not a crazy amount to win. However, they're saying that it's going to be right around that area. But I've taken the liberty of going through the schedule and looking at some of the games we've played. And if we played the Broncos twice. If we beat the Broncos twice, okay, that's 2. We beat the Panthers because Bryce Young is not very good, that's 3. We split with the Chargers, that's 4. We split with the Chiefs, that's 5. Which means if you hop over to the schedule, we would only need to win 2 more games on this schedule to get to 7. And who's to say we can't beat the Chargers twice? Who's to say we can't beat the Steelers with the quarterback question mark? Who's to say we can't beat the Falcons, who, they are a decent team, but we're not going to know how Kirk Cousins is going to fare. The Tampa Bay Bucks don't scare me. The Dolphins are interesting. The Jags are not great. Derek Carr's not great. There are a bunch of games on here that we could win to get to that 7 win total. And like I said last season, it's crazy that they hit us with back-to-back 6.5 over-unders for the win total, because last year was so chaotic and so crazy. And you could say, well, the reason that they have that is because the quarterback situation for the Raiders isn't ideal. And I'm not going to disagree with you. It's not ideal, but it was not ideal last year, and we won 8 games. And now we've got a way better defense and a way better head coach. If you head over to this website, it's thelines.com, and then you can put /odds, /Las Vegas Raiders. It gives you every single sports book that you would bet on, MGM, Bet365, DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel, and it gives you the over-unders. And for week 1, we are underdogs by 3.5 points, which means that if you bet on the Raiders and they lose by 3 or less, you still win that bet. And it's minus 110 for both. So they're kind of in the middle here. They're kind of playing both sides. And if you didn't know a little thing about betting, if you were the home team, you automatically get 3 points. So this is basically a pick-em. It's basically a 0.5 game that they're giving the Raiders 3 points at. And DraftKings has already dropped this to 3 for the Raiders, which means that a lot of people are betting the Raiders. You got Super Bowl odds here. I wouldn't suggest that you bet us to win the Super Bowl. And then you go down here and you could type in any player you want, and it shows you their odds to win MVP, to win Defensive Player of the Year. DraftKings already has Max Crosby at plus 700, plus 650, which is not a crazy total. That means if you bet $10 on this, you win 70. Most sacks in the league, BetMGM already has been plus 600 to win Super Bowl MVP, plus 15,000, blah, blah, blah. So if you come into here and you type in, I don't know, what do we want to do? Zamir White. You type in Zamir White, then it loads up everything that he could be leading. Rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, total yards. Okay, see, this is interesting. Over under for Zamir White, total rushing yards, 775.5 for DraftKings. To me, I might take, that's tough. I'm thinking initially I might take the under just because ALLaBorde and Madison might be taking some time there, but if he is going to be the bell cow running back, that would be interesting to maybe take the over on that. Right now, the odds are in your favor to take the under. Regular season touchdowns, 4.5 feels like an instant over. I think he's going to have 5, 6, 7 minimum. Let's go to somebody like a Brock Bowers, a rookie year type stats. And I will say the tough thing about the Raiders pass catchers is that there's so many that it's going to be hard to quantify just how good or bad they're going to do. To win Offensive Rookie of the Year plus 4,000, I like that a lot. Most receiving yards in the league, that's not going to happen. Let's see, total touchdowns. 4.5 again. Again, that feels pretty low to me, but you got guys like Devonte and Jacoby, right? And Trey Tucker and ALLaBorde competing for pass catching touchdowns. And you got other people like Michael Mayer as well. So if you go to here, and let's do Devonte Adams one last thing here. Devonte Adams. Let's see. I kind of like a lot of money on him. His touchdown total is 6.5, and his receiving 1,000 yards. I mean, let's look at. Okay, so this is why you have to go to this website. 1,000 yards is basically the over/under for Devonte Adams, and this is again going off of him. The quarterback situation is not ideal, quote unquote, even though it was just as bad last year, probably worse last year, definitely worse last year. DraftKings has him at 1,000 yards. Let's go to Devonte Adams. Devonte Adams stats. And this is how you do your research and get in the lab. Okay, the last time he did not have 1,000 yards was in 2019. Was he injured this season? I think he was. The 2019 Packers, Devonte Adams. Okay, so let's go to Pro Football Reference. Let's go to 2019. Let's see how many games he played. Games played 12, and he basically had 1,000 yards. Okay, so if you go past that, it was 885 in 2017. So 2017 was the true blue 17-game season. Oh, no, he only played 14 games. See? Okay. See, this is interesting. So it's been a while since Devonte Adams has not had 1,000 yards. And even last year, with all the rigmarole and chaos, he had 8 touchdowns, which was the over, and 1,144 yards. Now, Brock Bowers is going to come in and take a lot of that away. A lot. You know, we'll see how much he does there. But it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, we're not counting this, 5, 6 years since a legitimate non-1,000-yard season for Devonte Adams. I think he's definitely going to hit 1,000 yards, and I think he's going to have over, what was it, 6.5 touchdowns. That's a little more sketchy, but I think without a doubt he's going to have over 1,000 yards. Let's do Trey Tucker now as well. I think Trey Tucker is going to be an interesting one. I bet you his yards are in the 300s, and I think he'll be way over that. Trey Tucker. Why is he not coming up? How do you spell Trey Tucker? Tucker. What if I just put Tucker in? I mean, where's Trey Tucker's stats? How do you spell Trey Tucker? What's happening? Trey Tucker odds. All right, here we go. I guess I have to go to this one right here. Okay, Trey Tucker. Nope. Okay, this is bettingpros.com. Trey Tucker future odds for the 2024 season. Let's see what comes up here. Trey Tucker player props? Nothing. All right, so they have nothing on Trey Tucker. That'd be something to monitor down the road. What is Trey Tucker's what's his over-under yards wise? I don't even know if they would have it. And Jacoby Myers right here, they don't have any over-unders for him as well. So it's interesting. Look, I think there's a lot you can look into here in terms of making money betting on Raiders futures. I'm not a big futures guy because I just don't like waiting around to see how much I need every week. It's like, oh, they need to win this game because then they can get to 6 and then they can get to 7. However, when it's something so easy and obvious like Devonte having 1,000 yards or Zamir White having 5 touchdowns or more, or us winning more than 6.5 games. Like I said, I mean, we played the Broncos twice. We split with the Panthers, split with the Chargers, split with the Chiefs. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, which means we'd only need to win 2 more games the rest of the year to qualify for that 7th win. It doesn't seem like rocket science to me, but this gets me to my overarching point of being underestimated, right? Every year it seems like people didn't believe we could do it. Even the year in which we won 10 games, the year after that, when we upgraded at head coach with Josh McDaniels and then traded for Devonte Adams, our over-under win total was 8.5. Now, Vegas was right. It was an unmitigated disaster, and we won 6 games. But that wasn't because they thought Josh McDaniels was going to be like a nightmare. They set the bar low for the Raiders every single season. I guarantee the year we won 10 games, we hit the over. Last year, we hit the over. And this year, we're going to hit the over. So why do the Raiders get underestimated so much? Especially in a year like 2022, where we were coming off a playoff win. We were coming off of a wild card seed that was the best wild card seed. We were coming off a playoff appearance where we almost beat the eventual AFC champions, and we traded for Devonte Adams and signed Chandler Jones. I think it's because sports books are driving people to want to bet on the Raiders. They're feeding into people's positivity on them or negativity on them, and they're a team that probably gets a lot of futures bets. I don't have the numbers there, but I would just imagine, I've said a lot of times in the media, the Raiders are hailed in such high regard when they're good. Oh, it's great when the Raiders are good because it's great for the league. And then when they're bad, it's great to shit on them as well because it gets clicks. And when they're in this weird gray area like we are right now, they've got to talk about something. So, Antonio Pierce is bankrupt. Or, Derek Carr, is he really a good quarterback? Like, there are always things that people need to talk about with the Raiders because the Raiders drive in clicks, which drives in revenue. So I think purposefully so, the sports books kind of underestimate or lowball the Las Vegas Raiders to drive people to bet on them one way or another. And I think that could be to your benefit if you're somebody who likes to bet responsibly, of course, and likes to win some money on the teams that they root for. I wouldn't suggest betting for or against them every single week because it just makes the chaos and the anxiety of watching the Raiders that much more heightened. But once in a while, when you think this is a lock, gotta put it in there, there's no harm, no foul. And like I said, this is not a sponsored video. I'm just giving my viewers a little way to make a little bit of that cashish in the off season. And then when the season's over and we won 10 games, you got some money in your pocket. Maybe one day this will be a video that would be sponsored, but for right now, it is free of charge to any sports books out there who are looking for somebody to get behind. Get behind the channel that might hit 10,000 subscribers because you are going to hit that sub button. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/ALLaBorde Raiders. Link is in the description below. The link below is also to the Discord, which is free. The Patreon, you get early access to videos, exclusive content, yada, yada, yada. Name at the end of the credits. Please be sure to subscribe. It is free after all, no charge to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.